everybody, and welcome to today's video. I wanted to talk to you about after the narcissist discard you, how do they see the relationship, or how do they view you? So let's jump in. So the narcissist is basically a brat. They are a little child in an adult's body. They have arrested development. They find you, and when they meet an empath, it's like the jackpot. You're like this new toy. And when a child gets a new toy, it's brand new, and they usually put all the other toys away. They discard them. They throw them away, or they put them on the shelf, let them collect dust. But that new toy, it smells like brand new plastic. That's what you are to the narcissist. The arms move and they don't wobble yet because it's still brand new. But after a couple of weeks, they don't want that new toy anymore. They usually want the one that they had before. But if your mother or father gave it away, well, then a child that has to always be pampered is going to demand that they have that old toy back. And that would be in representation of the harem. And that's what they do. They act just like a child, but they're in an adult body. They've been hijacked to the point to where they have arrested development because they never could build up courage to get through any of their emotional issues. So instead they froze, and in fear they block it with pride, and they rage out, or they'll silent treatment you. They'll act smug. And that's what they do. And then they go to the shelf and they get that other toy, and they'll play with that for a while, and they'll put it back and they'll get another one. And that's what their harem garage is like. They shelve you. They discard and shelve you and come back for you later because they're in a circle to nowhere. So when they discard the empath, they always destroy you, and they are sure that they could find another one of you anywhere. The next person that's going to come along, or the person they have, is going to be like you and more. Because what happens, you built them up with this pure energy, with your good soul energy, your best fuel, and you're a giver. You always were given to them up until a certain point to where you woke up, and that spark of enlightenment hit you square in the head that this individual was going to do nothing for you. They were out to take and then destroy you. And that's exactly what they did, or they tried to do, and they did for a time. So when you give them all of their supplied needs, right, and you were like a one-stop shop, that's part of the problem with the narcissist finds and runs into. When you're an empath, you're different than the others. You are somebody who grew up in these narcissistic families. You didn't become a narcissist, but you always supplied for them as a child. You were groomed this way. You were a people pleaser. You didn't follow your intuition like you should have, especially when you're under the spell. And you're easily to be trauma bonded to them. You may have had some codependency issues, and so that made it that much worse, because then you can latch onto them just like they latch onto you. And you don't have, say, some confidence in yourself based on your childhood. The inferiority complexes that your family put on you, they try to instill it in the scapegoat because they want the scapegoat to stick around because they're the ones feeding off the scapegoat. When the narcissist family loses the scapegoat, the whole family cult falls apart because they keep fighting each other. And that's why they call you the curse breaker, the chosen curse breaker, because when you wake up to this, you break the whole family unit curse. The whole cult falls apart because they were all feeding off you. And this is how important the scapegoat is, and how different that you are, because you are forced to be placed in a position. You are forced to produce every day, no matter what, whether you thought you could do it, or whether you could do it or not. When you're pushed up against a wall and you got to do it, you do it. Well, that's us. And that's why we shouldn't take anything for the narcissist, because the narcissist, we know when we're up against a wall, we fight, baby, and they don't. So we shouldn't see an excuse in them. You supplied and supported the whole family, and that's my point. So when you leave, they fight each other and destroy each other because you know why? You were the strongest one in the family, but made to look the weakest. Boom. And when the narcissist finds you, they do the same thing because that's part of the spell. That's part of what they're taught to do as well, whether they come from your family or not. So then you go from your family unit, from the family curse, now to the love partner curse, and the baton is passed. See, it never even breaks. It just changes, and then it throws you for another loop because it's different kind of energy. Now it's love partner energy. And you end up supplying so good for them that they haven't had that. So they may have had one of these scapegoats in their family, but they didn't even recognize it because they were enmeshed in it just like you were. And when they go out and about, they get all these pieces of supply. So this guy might do this and this guy might do that, but you were a one-stop shop because you were so strong in your empathy and your level of giving. Because of your caliber, you were born and bred like this. It's your pedigree. And you supplied so good for them, they didn't have to run around to get supply. Once they got you rooted down as their primary supply and got comfortable, they knew they were safe. They knew that you had integrity. You make them look good, so they don't have to focus on a lot of those things. They can just focus on playing around and cheating on you and then treating you like crap. And that's what they did. And then when they discard you or you discard them, they destroy you in the end with all these terrible words and things. And you're already all wore out. You have no more energy because they sucked it from you completely, and you're tapped out. Then they start telling you that you're nothing because they, in their stupid ego head of theirs, they don't have no spirit man to regulate them. That's their problem. That's part of their problem. They got a lot of problems. So because they have no spirit man to regulate their flesh, they're all ego. And because they're all ego, once they get with an empath and they draw that fuel off you, that good soul energy, and switch it with you every day, and you build them up to where their field matrix is full of flying monkeys and love partner, all this stuff, people working for them, they built it off your fuel, and they're starting to become successful, and they're starting to actually get credited for things that they didn't do because it's your fuel. And it's so good and pure that they're able to seduce people with it because you were more innocent and naive type fuel. They're not getting it off some other creep show because you can't switch fuel with somebody that's got the same kind of fuel as you. It ain't going to do nothing. But when you got an empath and you're toxic, you can switch that energy and level up. And that's what they were doing. They were leveling up and you were downgrading every day. And so when you get away from them, it starts to go like this real quick if you focus on yourself and get off that rumination. But they leave you telling themselves they did it all and that they can go out there and get the next person or whoever they have is going to turn into you plus because they were used to getting better every time. But when they were with you, didn't have to run around. And so what they did is they kind of seemed like they set their ducks up in a row when they were with you, and they weren't going to need you no more because they thought they could perpetuate this fuel, this lifestyle that they had created when they were with you. But unbeknownst to them, in their little head of theirs, their little pea brain, they didn't know. If you have a car and you ain't got fuel, you ain't going nowhere, y'all. And that's what they did. They left your place, they discard you, and within just a week or two, they're starting to run out of gas already. Things on their fuel matrix are falling apart. They're getting in arguments with people. They ain't got the fuel no more, so now they got to run around to 10 different individuals to get what they used to get from you. They used to just spend time hanging out and playing around, cheating on you. But now they're doing it because it's out of necessity. What happens then, when they come back to you, they're going to come back to you with a fake apology. They're going to give you some time. And then they're going to see if you reach out to them with the silent treatment. That's a part of a power struggle. So they're just going to fake it till they make it. They're going to try to get by with silent treatment till you come back to them. If not, they're going to come to you with false apology. If you don't accept that, they're going to come back several months later. It could be a year later. They're going to come back to you saying they changed, and they're going to switch that mask up. Tell you if they found God, or they started to listen to the advice from around them. They decide to make changes. Yeah, right. That's part of the spell to draw you back in when you're almost out. You ended up being the best they ever had, but now you don't take them back. Well, what happens now? You something to them. They're running around high and low looking for someone like you. That's exactly right. They can't find it because it ain't out there. There's not many people that can withstand the evil that the narcissist throws out on a daily basis. People don't take that, and the older you get, people wake up, and a lot of empathic people are already married and in relationships. And the older a narcissist gets, the more toxic they get, the uglier they get, and all they have is their looks and maybe money if they have that, but most of them don't even have that. So if they're left up to their looks, because you know I ain't got no brain up in there, they have no creativity, you gotta steal it all from you. They can't find a source, so now you become the gold standard. You're the best they ever had. You're the bar. You're the one they compare everybody to now, and they ain't got it. They may not meet one of you ever. They probably won't. or it may be a long time, and they'll wreck that too, because that's what they do. They're a wrecking ball, a destroyer. They don't give anything. They come to steal, kill, and to destroy, just like their father, the devil. They go from source to source. You're a stack of gold bars. That's what you were, all shining and glistening. And what they have now is a stack of bricks painted gold. That's it. Your absence is felt, y'all. And they're fronting. A lot of times, whatever they look like they're acting like, it's a lie. It's always a lie. You're a commodity to them. When it comes to supply and demand, if they want to look at you like an object, then fine. But out of supply and demand, when they're high in demand, they cost a whole lot more. They're infrequent. They're exclusive. And they cost a lot. They don't miss you. They miss your fuel. But your fuel represents you. It's your character, your integrity, and everything that comes with you, including your things, because you worked hard to get them. And it ain't meant for you to give them away either. The reality is they start to torment themselves and get tormented by the devils inside them for the stupid decisions that they make on a whim, because they're not only mischievous, they're not only evil and sadistic, blatant, but they're also impulsive. And they just jump to whoever they want, doing whatever they want, because that's what a spoiled brat does. And the reality of it, they always get less when they do things like this to a person that's really supplied them well. They're destroyers. They leave you, they wreck you, they're a wrecking ball, they destroy you, beat you down with words and abuse, and come back. Screw them. They only respect and they only want what they can't have, because we don't have no respect for them. So who gives up? You're real. You're a stack of gold, y'all, and they ain't nothing but painted bricks, whoever they're with. Appearance is not the truth, y'all. You got to know that. They are master manipulators and illusionists. They have to always get better. That's the thing, and they've always gotten better until the day they met you. And they may have never had an understanding of what a primary supply really truly looked like until they met you. You root them down. You protect them. You supply them with your integrity. They know they're comforted. They start to not have the paranoia and some of that depression. They start to build up their energy, feel all pompous inside. They did it themselves. They start to get stability to their instability. They start to look good to people out there because they're painting their mask up right, because you got the fruits of the spirit, and they don't. So they actually become successful. Not really. But you make them, especially those covert antisocial type narcissists and wolves in sheep's clothing, you really do a lot for them, but you cannot prop up evil forever. And that's a good thing, because you don't want to be stuck with them. And if that was the case, you might have stayed forever. God allowed you to do it, but just for a time. See, this is the thing. Satan, when you're running with Satan, you run in a circle to nowhere. He freezes you. And when you're involved in that circle with them, you're running in a circle to nowhere too. But when God has you, he runs you in a linear fashion. He grows you and makes everything exponential at some point. But part of leaving the spell is you feeling guilt for them, but they can live just fine. They do give you that illusion sometimes, though. You may miss them. That's the spell. You may feel like you want to fix them. That's the spell. That's it. You can't change them. And the best thing you could do is run and light your candle and keep it under a bushel. No, man, I'm going to let it shine. I'm going to let it shine, and I ain't going to change, and I ain't going to change my empathy. I just change who I offer it to, because I vet individuals and I work with precision. So if you can give me a like, subscription, and a thumbs up, I love y'all. Till next time, Soul Job, we out.